I am Johnny Massacre and welcome to my world. Tonight, the epic failure of Concord, $200 million woke disaster that has now overtaken ET as gaming's biggest flop. Who is with me? Give me a hell yeah or a hell no for Concord. Hello everyone, welcome back to Johnny Massacre's world. Today we're diving into what might be the most spectacular failure in video game history. Can you believe it? No, it's not ET for the Atari 2600. It's Concord, a game that promised the world but delivered basically nothing. So here is why it is being called the ultimate gaming catastrophe. The build up to this game, Concord, being released. Imagine spending $200 million and 8 years of your life on a project only to have it shut down within 11 days because so few people were buying it and playing it. That is what happened to Concord. Touted as a revolutionary title, it was supposed to redefine gaming. But what went wrong? Well, it's now overtaken ET as the biggest video game flop of all time. ET actually significantly outsold Concord by a wide margin. ET sold 100 times more than even Concord itself. So, 8 years in development, and it didn't even last 11 days. Concord is such a huge flop that it was outlived by a housefly. So the average life expectancy of a housefly is generally 15 to 30 days. Concord only lasted 11 days. So Concord was so unpopular that people would rather have sex with Hitler. There was a game called Sex with Hitler, and its peak player count was 2001. Concord's peak player count was 697 players, which is unbelievably small. It only had 231 pre-orders. If it had a peak player count of 641, compare that to Black Myth Wukong, a game which had half the development cycle and cost way less to produce, that didn't have a peak player count of 641. It had a peak player count of 1.4 million. That is how huge of a failure Concord actually is. It sold only 25,000 units and made little over $1 million profit in 2 weeks. Black Myth Wukong made about $1 billion worth of profit. Absolutely unbelievable numbers. It's hard to even fathom how big of a flop this game is. The second reason Concord flopped is because of the woke overload. So Concord wasn't just a game, it was a political statement. Developers influenced by woke activists and consultants decided to infuse the game with themes of Marxist victimhood. Characters in Concord are not heroes, they are champions of social justice. So look at this article on Pink News. It says musician Miller Jam makes history as first playable black trans woman in a major studio's video game. This is actually one of the characters in Concord, and it just looks woke as hell. Here are some of the other character designs. Rock Solid on X says whoever greenlit Concord at Sony after seeing these character designs should pay back the 200 million. What the F were they thinking? Here's one character design, kind of overweight and obese. Another one, and they just look absolutely awful, would you not say? The third reason Concord failed is because of the gameplay. It was a gameplay disaster. The gameplay was there apparently, but it was buried beneath layers of political correctness. The mechanics felt like an afterthought, overshadowed by the game's attempt to propagandize rather than entertain. Players didn't come for a political message, they came for fun, and unfortunately, they didn't get any of that. So the fourth reason Concord is an absolute failure is the comparison to ET, the benchmark of video game failure. So remember ET for Atari 2600? That game was so bad it nearly killed the video game industry. But Concord, it managed to be less engaging and even more of a failure than ET. At least ET had nostalgia. Concord has, well, nothing at all. ET sold 1.5 to 4 million copies, depending on who you believe, according to Wikipedia and Den of Geek, respectively. And even if 3.5 million copies of ET were returned and millions of them were buried in the Mexico desert, according to Den of Geek, that still means that ET still sold 500,000 copies in comparison to Concord's 25,000. The fifth reason Concord failed is the market reaction. 2 weeks, as I said, Actually, 11 days. That's all it took for Concord to be pulled from shelves, digital stores, and the hearts of gamers. Sony has officially cancelled this game, so they're going to pull it from the PlayStation Store. You cannot buy it anymore. The backlash was swift. Players, reviewers, everyone was asking, what the hell were they thinking? You could have showed it to us 8 years ago at the start of development with these character designs and political messaging, and we could have saved you a whole lot of time and money. And so, the sixth reason and final reason why Concord is such an epic failure is the aftermath. So Sony, in an unprecedented move for a game of this scale, offered refunds for all copies of the game. Can you believe that? So it wasn't just a failure, it was a lesson in what not to do when creating a video game. So what is the takeaway from the failure of Concord, which has now taken ET's title of the biggest failure in video gaming history? Well, it stands as a monument to what happens when games use left-wing consultancy agencies like Sweet Baby Inc. and change the game to satisfy diversity, equity, and inclusion demands. If you enjoyed this dive into the failure of Concord, please make sure to headshot that like button, subscribe for more, and let's keep it about fun and not politics. I am Johnny Massacre, and if you're just joining us, we're discussing how Concord has now become the biggest video gaming failure of all time. But if you have been watching from the beginning, then stop your grinning and drop your linen, donate some cash, and let's keep winning. Streamlabs.com/Johnny Massacre. The more you donate, the more of me you're going to get. You can also donate on patreon.com/Johnny Massacre. And of course, as always, paypal.me/give me a hell yeah, and I would much appreciate it. They could have fixed it. This is how they could have fixed the game. They could have put Booba in it. They could have done a Stellar Blade. That's all they had to do. Instead, they paid woke consultancy companies and DEI experts to destroy their own game. So this game might actually kill the hero shooter genre, at least on PlayStation, and it might kill the multiplayer game. The crazy thing is, Sony have another game coming that looks very similar, and it is going to flop just as hard. So Permaband on X says, reminder, Sony still has an upcoming PvPvE heist shooter game. It's called Fairgames. Yes, that is in fact the game's name, and the S is a dollar symbol. So this is an anti-capitalist game that wants to take down the big businesses, man, that are like hurting the economy. They gave you wankers a job. So this is what the game looks like. It looks very, very similar to Concord. It's going to be full of woke, hard leftist propaganda. And there's actually a trailer for it. Should we watch it? This is Fairgames. It's an anti-capitalist game. Let's check it out. Can this surpass E.T. and now Concord as the biggest video gaming flop ever? Hold my beer, says Fairgames.
You want to know about us? Seems
Whammon is the lead character. We now have propaganda messaging saying cheat the rich.
like everyone does these days. It's simple. Too much money and too much power is held by just a few people.
So they're saying billionaires have far too much money. Okay, the people like Elon Musk who create the greatest technology in the world that keeps America as a world leader and stops it getting taken over by its rivals such as China. They're the bad people. Mao was saying this in the early 1900s, and the commies of America and California are still doing it. This is Sony's next game.
And it's only getting worse. So, we decided to do something about it.
So they're going to steal the wealth from the billionaires and redistribute it among the poor, like all communists say they're going to do, before actually not giving it back and keeping it all for themselves.
Let's go.
Okay, they used an amen drum for the music. That's not fair. That's cultural appropriation from the drum and bass genre. But yeah, you've got a lead intersectional Whammon as the lead character.
Socks too, I got the swag too. It's a haiku. I'm something like you. Might drink and drive too. Work 9 to 5s when I was in high school. These shoes here don't come out till June. This my pick. I'll crop you. Married to the game. Said my I do's. Got a window seat like Erykah Badu.
I can't even tell if these characters are male or female. So you've essentially, this is a BLM activist simulator, mostly peaceful robbing of a bank, called Fairgames. I love the way these people are saying like capitalism is so bad when they can actually make something as shit as that and get funding to complete it. I mean, fucking hell, dude. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. These people are just completely insane, don't you think? So that's the next game coming from them. Speaking of games, now there's a movie adaptation of Minecraft. And look, it looks woke as fuck. It looks like a character from Concord is playing one of the lead women in it. So wokeness just knows no bounds. It will just keep on going until it has destroyed everything. So get ready for that, y'all. We've got some cucked guy in a pink jacket as well in the Minecraft movie. So quite simply, get woke, go broke. Concord failed, Fairgames is going to fail, and the Minecraft movie is going to fail as well because people don't want political messaging in their games. Thank you very much, everyone. Much love and take care, and see you tomorrow. Cheers.